Hello, this is Galen Martling, design team member with Unity Stamp Company. I have an outdoor scene. It's a grassy slope scene with trees with stamping by Unity Stamp Company. I have stamps. One is called Beautiful Things Change, and it's filled with a few little different sprigs and tree bases, and also it's got some tree backgrounds that you could stamp. I chose to foil the background, which is actually the treetops, and I pre-foiled that using a laminator and some Decofoil transfer gel, but you can heat emboss that background also and then add foil to it through a laminator, or you can just stamp it with maybe a green or a different color ink and just stamp the background. And then I chose to use the tree trunks and the tree sprigs. I stamped those, and I like to heat emboss those when I want to do an overlay using vellum. I'm going to do that in this case for the trees and the sentiment. And so for the foiling, I have a Your Story laminator and Decofoil in green, and I just go ahead and foil that right onto just regular cardstock, and I used a carrier sheet of parchment paper to go through the laminator on that. So the background is foiled, and the top, which is going to be an overlay, is vellum. So I'm going to use those two together later, but first I'm going to create a handmade stencil made out of a die-cut wavy look. This is actually a wave die by My Favorite Things called Ocean Waves Dynamic. And I just die cut a piece of cardstock, a piece of scrap cardstock, and I'm using that as a mask for stenciling a few different slopes. So there's one, and I'm going to just change the position of it and just do a little bit more ink blending using Distress Oxide ink. For the different slope areas. I switch it around to change that slope look, and I'm going to go up into the tree just a little bit, and you'll see I'm going to place that vellum over top so that it looks like a slopey ground area. I use a few different colors of Distress Oxide ink and an ink blending brush. So I have the inks are Broken China, Peeled Paint, and Walnut Stain. And I have a Fiskars paper trimmer that I use for trimming and some cording. Now I'm going to go back over those same areas with that handmade stencil there, and I'm going to add some walnut stain along the top portion of each of those slopes just to create a little bit of a definition there and a little interest and depth to those slopes to make them stand out a little bit more. So I thought the peeled paint looked a little too much on the yellowish side to me, so I added a little bit of brown just to simulate what a ground would look like, maybe some shadows. And then I just add a few swipes of the blue Broken China Distress Oxide ink along the top. And then I use a paper trimmer just to trim down that panel a little bit because I want some of that white card base to show on the outer rims. I'm going to add adhesive, flat double-sided adhesive along the top and in the sprig behind the sprigs there, just to put that vellum on. I trimmed a little bit more off the bottom of that vellum to finish off the card. Very easy to do, and it's interesting. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you take a moment to subscribe. Have a great day.